let's call landmarks meeting to order. The gavel. Okay, so the minutes, so we don't have to vote minutes. I'm just letting you know, so you don't, because I know we're all into Robert's rules, right? But Daphne said now we just have to, I just need to ask if there are any recommended changes, clarifications to the minutes as she sent out. And hey, Elizabeth, we just started. No, you're good. Any changes or clarifications to the minute that anyone wants? Okay, in that case, we don't need a vote. Let's say they're approved. Okay,
Do we need a second?
no, we don't have to vote.
Okay.
I'm going with Daphne. Okay, and I want to introduce Charles. He's our new member of the commission. Hi, this is Elizabeth. And you know, Alder Jackson, so,
Can I say
yes,
something?
yeah,
We can't introduce him as a new one until we use Robert's rules to say there's one member who's no longer.
yeah, so they do that at Common Council.
Oh,
They're the ones that appoint the members, so we don't,
so have you done that already?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They did
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know.
I didn't follow up. Sandy asked me this. I asked Daphne, I didn't ensure the answer. That is my fault, but I appreciate, she was the one that prompted me that.
Oh.
That's a good question, Sandy. I didn't share the answer, but yeah.
That's okay. So you already contacted her. She's no longer on
Yeah,
the board.
we tried
and then-
contacting her, the mayor tried contacting her and didn't hear
Nothing.
back, so
Okay,
we have our new member, Charles.
okay, okay.
Okay, next up, election of chair and vice chair. So right now I'm the chair. Right now Sandy's the vice chair. Do we want to? Yeah.
Order,
Mhm.
at this point, since it's an election, would you like to, would the committee like to appoint a temporary chair to run the election of chair and vice chair? Who is not.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Hey, Charles. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Elizabeth, you okay? You asked, I think you asked for either nominations or self-nominations.
Yes, are there any nominations?
I would nominate Alder Jackson.
Alder Jackson? We can't hear you, you're muted.
Alder
Oh,
Jackson,
you're
you were
still
muted.
muted. We cannot hear you.
I had this
Alder-
problem last week at the tourism.
Alder
commission.
Jackson, would you like to type something in the chat? We cannot hear
We
you.
don't have the chat page.
Alder Jackson, if you accept the nomination, use the raise hand function.
Oh, yeah.
What, except,
There we go. Okay, thank you.
except nomination for,
He
For
was
chair.
nominated to be chair.
oh,
Chair.
Um,
Are there any other nominations?
well, can I nominate John to be
You should.
chair?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to
Sure.
do that.
John, would you like to?
Sure, this is more interesting than last time.
Right, last time we were begging.
Mm-hmm.
And vice chair?
Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I think we should proceed with the chair.
Yeah, why don't
Chair
you do
first?
chair first?
Okay,
Okay, so.
so those who would like to vote for Alder Jackson,
Yeah, so you just call the question, right?
Yeah, you could,
Then vote.
yeah, if you want to do it that way, but she's the temporary chair.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Okay,
those who wish to vote for Alder Jackson, would you raise your hand, I guess?
he needs to raise his hand, or you can see it if he's gonna raise his hand.
Alder Jackson, if
You're
you,
voting for yourself.
yeah,
Oh, is he frozen now?
Looks like he is.
Alder Jackson, you appear to be frozen. I don't know if you can hear us.
I move to defer consideration of this.
Yeah,
until
yeah,
Alder Jackson has resolved technological issue with our current temporary chair presiding the meeting.
That sounds great.
You can take a vice chair.
A place chair?
Vice chair.
Vice chair.
Oh, vice chair. do we want to wait on who is voted for chair first? Can we revisit this at the end of the meeting? Is that okay?
Yeah, we just
To
voted.
see if,
Yeah, my motion was to defer
Yeah,
consideration of
yeah.
it until Alder Jackson.
Yeah.
Yes, technical issue.
yeah, I just want to do that for vice chair as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you
Yeah.
are still the temporary chair, Madam Chair.
Well, have I served my position for the time being? Until
Well-
later, at which point Alder Jackson has returned?
Yes. So,
Okay,
so should we just move on to agenda 2 now?
Yeah.
And then John can continue sharing.
You-
In
Sure.
the interim,
Yes,
meeting.
please.
Yes.
here's Alder Jackson.
okay, he's rejoining. That's what I figured he probably dropped off for
Maybe.
rejoining.
I am back and I have sound.
Okay.
Oh, it's good to hear you.
We need video from you, though.
Yes, to
I
count.
got
Yes.
video. Oh, sorry. There you go.
We get
You
two of
see
you.
me?
Yeah.
We do.
Okay. It's me and my twin brother. Don't worry about him.
Can I return back to chair?
Yep, your chair again.
Those who wish to vote for Alder Jackson, please raise your hand.
Alder Jackson, are you voting for yourself?
Okay.
Is my hand up?
It's up. Those who wish to vote for John, please raise your hand.
Are you voting?
Don't want to.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So Alder Jackson is now the chair.
Chair.
Yes.
Does he now need to take over?
Yeah, the chair
As
would now
the-
preside.
Okay,
Okay,
do we want to do vice chair though, for the,
Yeah, the chair.
but
would
now,
preside.
now the
Okay.
chair will.
Okay.
Alder Jackson, it's your show now.
Oh, it's my show.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're moving on to vice chair now, I believe.
Mhm.
Okay. Any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Sandy.
I nominate John.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Sandy or John, do we accept their nomination?
Yeah, I will if Sandy will. Okay,
I didn't hear.
yes, we both accept it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
No,
None? All righty. All that is in favor of Sandy, please raise your hand.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. And all in favor of John, raise your hand.
One.
And that. How many?
That was
One.
1.
One for John? Okay. Well, Sandy, I guess you have it. You're the new vice chair.
Okay, I accept.
You accept? Thank
Yes.
you.
thank you for your service.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Your service. Thank you for your service. Moving on.
Okay, so the second item is selection of our citywide historical survey consultant.
The second item agenda is a selection of citywide historical survey consultant. And who do we have on the agenda?
There's Tracy Schnell
Okay.
with TES Consulting. There's
Legacy.
Gail, yep, there's Legacy Consulting based out of Sheboygan. That
Okay.
has Megan Daniels as the lead architectural historian. Tracy Schnell from Kiel, and then there is Gail Klein who's with UW Milwaukee, and she's based out of Stoughton.
Okay,
Did you think of?
Mr. Chair,
yes,
Yeah.
so before we proceed to any sort of vote on the consultant, I just want to note that the evaluation criteria for scoring in the agenda packet has not yet been done. And so I ask that we as a committee go through and score these consultants before proceeding to a vote. Using the criteria on the page that's currently up 7 in the agenda packet.
yes, I'm trying to pull it up on my laptop. I'm looking at it on my phone. So you're talking about the factors that are on here.
Yes, I'd ask that we go through and score and then decide on the consultant after we've scored them.
Okay, the first one listed
Now-
was legacy. Do we want to start with that?
Sure.
In our packet that
Yeah.
Daphne.
Are we gonna
supplied.
score by each individual or altogether?
We score them individually because we're deciding on one. So we'd score each individual consultant. And then we would decide based on the scoring matrix,
Okay.
which consultant had done the best.
Okay. And the first one on the agenda is Tracy Shum.
No,
Am I correct, Tracy Shum?
Yeah, we can start with Tracy.
Okay. Is Tracy Shum with us? Is she online?
No, none of the consultants are at this meeting.
Okay. Okay. Tracy Shum, ability to work with federal regulations, ability to ensure compliance with federal regulations, ability to comply with MOA and scope of work, flexibility if more funding becomes available. Points.
How do you feel about the last one, the flexibility part?
Okay.
flexibility with Tracy. She is a single operator. So she would have to move her timeline if needed with her other projects. So that's something you have to think about with a single operator.
Okay.
So I think on that, in that, to me, I feel like all of them in the work approach are gonna be fairly equal. On the first 3 items, that's what they do, and that's how they've gotten this far. Any questions about flexibility are the only ones I think that vary between them.
So do we want to break the rubric down into, so for the 25 points, do we want to just divide that by 4? And then that way we're assigning the points based on their ability within each one of those things. So like 25 divided by 4, so 1/4 of 25 would be the ability to work within federal regulations. 1/4 of 25 would be ability to ensure compliance with federal regulations. 1/4 of the 25 would be ability to comply with MOA and scope of work. 1/4 of the 25 would be flexibility if more funding becomes available.
I think so. I wouldn't give her a 0 on the flexibility. I would just maybe knock her down a point for that is all, honestly.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with people who have multiple team members. They still have to work with their other projects as well. So
I'll just create an Excel spreadsheet. Seems like the way we're gonna go with this.
yeah. The majority of the, like all 3 of these consultants, they have multiple projects going on at the same time. So
And getting ahead of myself, one of the reasons that I like her is because she's independent.
Mhm.
And we don't have to try to track down who's covering which portion of the survey. It's just
Exactly.
a direct question to her. So
Yeah.
if it's not down one, I would put her back up
Mhm.
elsewhere.
yeah,
Can we put down the name of her company? It's called Historical Consulting LLC. instead of Tracy, or do? we-
Yeah, let's
It's
go by,
PES, yeah.
yeah, let's go by company name. That's a lot easier. Track of the first names, since some consultants sent us lists of more than I can count on one hand.
I connect this, I think this other one ran out of battery.
Thomas is still with us on the board.
Yes, yeah, Thomas said he might not be able to make it. He's in an out of town meeting. Okay, so.
Oh, no.
This one's not working.
Does it have a switch on it?
I'm here with you guys. I'm just trying to get my laptop to come up for the agenda. It's been down for a while, so I'm actually zooming from work on my phone. So I'm hearing, I'm working through this. So as far as the point system is concerned, I see there's a maximum of 25 points. Is it, so how the points being tallied up? By twos, by fives, by ones,
25 divided by 4 would be
by four?
625.
Okay.
So each
But-
supposed to
but-
vote?
Yeah, but I'm looking at each category is, so like the first category is 25, second is 25, the timeline in front is 25, but the data entry is 10 and the last category team is 40.
Correct. So we divide them, like each section individually up by the number of things in it. Well, the points by the number of things in it.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try this Zoomception here and share from this screen. Okay, oh, it's a little smaller, but
No, it's good.
Alder Jackson, can you see that?
Yes, I can see it now. I got
Okay.
it. Legacy TSUWM.
So this is,
This is TE, oh, okay.
So I'm guessing the work approach would be the ability to work with federal regulations.
That's the first bullet under work approach. Yes.
Okay. 2, 3,
I would
4.
give it 5, so. Yeah, I would give her, 25 points for all of it,
I mean, really, if we're gonna knock them all down on the one question equally.
right?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like as a solo operator, she's probably going to be maybe a little less flexible. But it's like, I agree, it's not like a 0. I don't think it's a maximum points thing. I think it's like a 24 versus a 25.
okay. So 24, 25, 24.5 for now.
Well, that side of the table, what are you guys thinking?
We can go back. It's kind of hard until we haven't calibrated on anything yet. So I think once we get some filled in.
Okay. Okay, so now onto timeline and funding.
According to her printout, she has the ability to do this completely. She has my confidence for 25 points. She's done this before. She has indicated and spelled out the deadlines and the total anticipated costs.
And she's comfortable with meeting the deadlines.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where, as an independent, to me, she goes up because she won't have employees on different schedules, overtime, or stuck in traffic, or, you know, like if 4 people are stuck driving back to the office.
And she has a direct contact through this, the WHPD database as well. If you read who she works with already, she's already doing that.
Yes.
Oh, that's the one below us. We're still on time. Anyway.
Oh,
I say,
Yeah.
I say 25 too.
Yeah.
okay.
So now moving on to report and data entry. You said she has a,
She spells it all out in here that she's
Mhm.
done both and is currently working on those things in her other job. So
Now, one of my questions is, my only concern with that is, I think we started off that she's solo. So she herself will be conducting the final survey reports.
Yes. Yeah, she's been a single operator for quite some time now, so she's accustomed to creating reports on her own. And
Okay.
when we get to formatting and data entry, she does that too.
Okay. So are we all comfortable with a 10?
I am.
I
Yes,
am,
And the last is the team. Adequate number of qualified personnel assigned to this project. Proximity of personnel to lead staff, personnel to lead staff, experience with similar projects successfully completed, and familiar with architecture and history survey work.
she has the experience and familiarity with architecture and survey. She's been doing
Okay.
this.
she's actually included,
Decades.
she's actually included some sites that were not included in the other ones, studies. For example, the Fox Ridge and Middleton Hills, and she's got, clearly, she's already, she's aware of those, and the others did not even, you know.
She's the only one that included current things from.
Yes,
Which
yes,
shows much greater attention to detail than.
exactly.
Especially, and she asked Daphne the questions leading up to it to make sure she could have an adequate cost. Make sure she knew what was involved so that the research was be thorough enough for a good report.
Right.
Yeah, she did personalize the bid in ways that other bidders did not.
so I'm hearing, 40? Yeah.
Definitely, because that, out of all of the list here, that's definitely, and I'm glad you guys spoke to that. My concern was how familiar she was with history and the architecture, and obviously she seems to know what she's doing in that area, and especially being this survey being the subject of that, that's a plus.
Yeah, she recently submitted the Sheboygan City-wide survey, but she's done others as well. And there's several others.
The only real concern I have is just and it's off rubric, so I don't think we should subtract points for it, but she is approximately 240 miles away from Middleton. And in the event that more than 2 meetings become necessary, that will potentially increase our cost above the grant allotted amount if she claims mileage.
I think the 235 was round trip, I think, when she
Yeah.
did.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, it's round
she's
trip. Okay, yeah,
in
yeah.
She actually addresses that
But-
in her proposal, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, she included that. Just since we're talking about that, Charles, so the other ones are from Sheboygan and then Milwaukee.
yeah,
right.
yeah. They're,
Frankly, I'm not sure where Keel is,
Yeah.
but I figure it's about,
It's
okay,
southwest of Sheboygan.
okay, so they're all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
okay.
it is a concern I have about all of them, just in terms of because
Yeah.
sometimes for Public Works, my other committee, when we have these meetings, it becomes necessary to have more than the planned number
Mhm.
for one reason or another, and so I do think that that's a reasonably foreseeable.
Yeah.
Future expense. And I did want to flag that for the committee.
Sorry, I want to clarify, it's slightly northwest of Sheboygan.
Okay, yeah.
For the record.
For the record, thanks. I know
Yeah.
I've seen this road sign for.
Yeah, she included, you know,
Right, yeah.
yeah. So,
I don't see any reason why we can't have any Zoom meetings with any of the consultants either. I mean, Alder Jackson's on Zoom, so I don't see that it would be much different, but.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
just want to flag that. Maybe. 240-mile round trip, give or take.
Well, she says 235 round trip. Yeah, okay.
all right, so the next one is legacy.
Yes.
Next one is legacy.
I have my binder and I left it.
It's an architectural firm with pages and pages of.
Yes.
So Legacy just did the huge Green Bay survey, which they broke off into quadrants so that they could survey the entire city. So
Well, that's the question I have is, who will be running the project? And how many people will be involved and, you know,
Yeah.
if we have direct questions, who would we ask? And
So Jennifer would be Lurky. She runs the business. She would be the project manager, I believe. Where she would run the projects, but the person that would be doing the legwork would be Megan Daniels. She's a new hire. She used to be at UWM and just recently, within the past month, transferred over to Legacy. She has a master's degree and experience doing this kind of work. Jennifer is a historic architect, so she has plenty of experience with this as well. She was involved with the Green Bay survey. They also have an admin, Lisa. She's the one who actually does the data entry. So she would not be coming here. She would be whipped as the architectural database that WHS has, and she would be entering the data into that.
do we know if there's flexibility if more funding becomes available?
I would assume it would be the same with all the other consultants where they just balance it with their other projects.
Yeah, they're gonna be working on other things. This is a small item to them, but if funding becomes available, they probably, I would assume that they would dedicate more resources to it. Whereas if you're deep, it's kind of, you only have so many. Perhaps, or you could dedicate more hours, I guess, but.
Yeah, they also have Robert Short that works on their team as well.
We discussed this a little bit last month in our non-official meeting. But I just have a leeriness about a big team
I
taking
did,
this project.
I do
If
too.
we have questions or we want to work with someone. And it's not anywhere in the matrix really that we could maybe put it except for
Maybe
on your team. I mean, of course, the adequate number of qualified personnel is like, maybe there's overkill
yeah,
of adequate personnel.
I feel the same.
But how do you feel about that, Elizabeth? I mean, are we kind of like, no, barking up the wrong tree thinking that, or
I think we have 3 really great consultants.
you're not making the CCN?
I know, I'm so biased because I know them and I was out of town for work with one of them and they did an amazing job, you know, very thorough, very detail oriented. And so I really know all of their work.
Well, it's nice to know we can't mess up.
Yeah, I think whoever we get it's going to be great. It's just what do you want? Do you want a single operator that's gonna be somebody that's gonna answer all the questions and have that availability? But then you have other people who are gonna lead the bigger firms as well, like Gail. She's more local, so if you do want someone more local, she's in Stoughton. I don't know how far away Stoughton is from here, but you know, what, half an hour drive, right? So it's not too far. She's also well versed in doing all these surveys as well. She does a lot of WISDOT surveys as well as individual National Register nominations. She is a part of the larger team that has more resources in terms of GIS modeling and or mapping and more staff that are also well experienced. So
Can I suggest, since it seems like we're gonna only kind of take points away where there's concern, maybe just go through the criteria in each category and let's put it down. And if no one has any concerns, it seems like the default is the max score. And then once we get everything up, if some people like, hey, I have a preference for this and this is why, then maybe let everybody voice that. Does that sound?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it'll go faster that way.
yeah.
Yeah,
So.
great input. I think we need to go through.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like, I believe Legacy, they did, I mean, in terms of funding, they did use, I think, a little bit more of the funding than Tracy did.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that is a doc or, I mean, they all came within our
Yes.
grant.
I think Tracy was within $3 of the max.
Yeah, they all
Oh.
came in,
Oh.
coming right under. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I don't
so
think.
I mean, and that, so it seems like timeline funding. 5. Report formatting and data entry. For Legacy.
That seems adequate to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
10, but I would be
And then-
concerned about the,
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, thank
for
you.
team, yeah, for team, I would give them a 39 because, again, this is a concern that they are so big. That what if they assign somebody to come to a meeting and they aren't prepared, you know? Or they don't have all the data we
I
need,
think
or,
I
the,
really think we have a basis for that conclusion.
right, but I mean, the proximity of personnel to lead staff, so, you know, if we need to contact them, I think what you said, you know. If is there a point person and.
Yeah,
if we
they're,
can contact.
yeah,
them.
they're all gonna have a point person. I'd say for data entry for Legacy, I would take it down from 10.
Okay.
Because the person who is doing the data entry does not have a degree in architecture or. And that's someone who's gonna be entering and building data. It's more of she's an admin.
okay,
Yeah, I feel better about the 9 or even an 8 on that,
Mhm.
not docketing on the team.
On
number.
team, okay.
So I feel better with the team.
And then maybe an 8 here.
But then to be fair, I think we agreed everyone is a 24.5 across the top.
Okay.
I agree on that. Everybody's 24.5. One of my concerns is, and I think someone brought it up in the room, is just having so many hands in the pot, so many people. I'm
Yes.
kind of leaning towards the solo. Just too many. It just seems like with here Legacy is just so many people involved,
yes,
and I think we just need to minimize that, especially with what we're trying to do in the research we're trying to get. And I think I believe it was Daphne who just expressed one of them areas. We got an 8 sitting up here because there's not enough experience in data entry, and we definitely want the data to be accurate, to be on point on this assignment.
right. And these people are in Milwaukee, so let's put the round trip in there, since we had Stoughton in there,
Sure.
so, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it 95?
95, well, if 235 miles is round trip, then shouldn't we call it a
Well,
190 round trip? Yeah,
part of the reason that I
82.
brought up that was because of the cost breakout.
Right, yeah.
For mileage in that bid. But I think we have that also, Milwaukee. No, we don't have that in Milwaukee, excuse me, or do we have that in? Milwaukee.
Was Legacy also Milwaukee or they were?
Sheboygan,
Yeah,
yeah,
north of
Which is-
Milwaukee,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
closer to Kiel.
yes,
yeah. And then the person from UWM you said is in Stoughton.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the
Just
way
one-
UWM works is that they're based out of UWM, so they don't have overhead, but then they have consultants that work from Chicago, Sheboygan, well, it used to be Sheboygan, now she's at Legacy, Stoughton, Milwaukee. They all live scattered around, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's part of the university, they have students or grad students working in the projects.
Not that I would know of. That's a good
I
question.
thought they did.
That's was my.
Did
concern.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that would
I,
be a
this
negative.
is,
yeah, because there might be errors because.
it's not a big budget. And I don't want it to turn into some senior project with the professor getting paid over the summer. I know that sounds real general, but it isn't. To UW Milwaukee, this is a small thing, I would think.
So from their bid on the team and qualifications, it seems like Brian is the director, Gail is acting lead architectural historian. She will lead the
Yeah.
field survey, act as primary author, with historians Justin
Yeah.
Miller, Kelly, Nick, as well as their staff GIS specialist, and no professional commitments that will interfere with their ability to lead. So it sounds like we're not getting students.
I don't mind if they come
It's-
along.
The way it works is Brian is just like the senior, making sure everybody's
Okay.
like meeting their budget, right? And hitting their timelines. Gail's doing the bulk of the work. Justin is very highly qualified. He has a lot of experience with survey work. But they don't provide a detailed scope of work where they call out which historian is going to be doing this bulk of the work and this amount of work, right? But they also, like Legacy, they have people who can provide nice mapping, and junior associate who can do the data entry.
Okay. Was there any specific factor that you're thinking of docking for UWM?
Well, no, I'm sorry, you just said it. The data entry person for UWM is
She has a master's in public history,
okay,
so she's a historian by trade.
so a 10 is good for there.
She may not have architectural experience. I don't know.
Oh. Want to knock him down a half a point?
It says that she's worked on determinations of eligibility that's determining whether properties are eligible for the state and national register.
So does she have architecture experience?
Her degrees are in history, but she has worked on properties that are architectural properties, providing determinations. So she has to have some familiarity with it. She just doesn't have a lot of experience. Whereas Justin, his bachelor's is in architectural studies. He just completed the Houses of Worship survey. He led that in Milwaukee, which was a huge undertaking, and calling out which ones are eligible or not. So he is a senior, and so like he has more experience like Gail does. But they don't call out how many hours each one of them will be working on it, right? So you just don't know. You just know that people from that team
Right.
will most likely be involved. Yeah.
So then my next question is it safe to, going back to the first historical consultant, is it safe to give 40 and compare her as historical consulting?
What is your question?
40 for a team, because she doesn't have a
Yes.
team, or as why,
I just don't see, from what I'm hearing, or maybe I'm hearing wrong, I just don't see the same experience as the first consultant when it comes down to that architecture and history.
I don't know what he's saying to you.
So Alder Jackson, you're saying that you think, if I'm understanding you correctly, that Tracy, her historical consulting firm has better and more relevant experience than the person assigned as primary from UW, who we believe will be doing most of the work from UWM.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So you think we should have UWM marked down a little bit on that
Half a point.
factor
maybe?
then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9.5. Okay.
39.5.
I would put, yeah, keep UWM,
Oh, you,
like more than,
Oh, okay. We'll do 39. I want that.
okay, so it looks like we've completed scoring brick. So,
I do have one other concern, and it would fall under team
Mhm.
with the adequate number of qualified personnel assigned to the project. So, and I like Tracy's submission, but I am a little concerned that she's one deep. And, if there was some unrelated cause that caused a delay, there is not a backup. We're putting eggs in one basket, so to speak, and it may be a great basket. I love hesitate, but that's just a little bit of concern of mine where it might.
yeah, what if she gets
Potential.
a deer on the way to the public meeting?
Yeah, she has a long drive, and and or I'm just,
She does talk about being able to communicate like Alder Jackson is on the computer if
yeah, but it could be any number of things unrelated to the actual job. But when you have a team of one person and that one person is gone, it's like saying everybody in Legacy, we're on a skiing trip and they all broke both their legs. The chance of that happening is very slim. But if one person is ill, injured, family emergency, something that could potentially delay this. And I don't know if it's something that we want to alter the score, but it's definitely, to me, it's a risk when you don't have any redundancy. But I work in process improvement, so that's just
Yeah, I'm also concerned about a single point of failure. There are a lot of unfortunate things that can happen. You get the flu, you're just not able to work for a week or two. And that pushes everything back when you're solo because you also have your life commitments that you've put off. You have a family member who you have to take care of. That happens all the time. It comes up. We have the grant money for a set amount of time and we need the work done by a date certain. And we may not be able to get that with a solo person, and it would be difficult to have somebody else come in and do the survey if this happens, say 4 to 6 months into the process.
right. But so obviously, because she's one day, so it's numerically, it's easy to say there's a risk point there. Since you seem to know these other organizations pretty intimately,
I read
Is
their
there-
stuff all the time.
is there a huge difference between Tracy, historical consulting, single point of failure, and the others? And in other words, those other two organizations, if one or two of those key players, would they be at a same?
I mean, a little echo there. I would say that all 3 of them, we should be very happy with those bids that we got. They're all very qualified in what they do and they all do good work.
Okay.
So I'd be happy with
Yeah.
any of them. I think it does go down. Do you want a single operator or do you not? Is, in my opinion, based off of the scoring, you choose that because there are benefits and takeaways
Yes,
from
along
each.
with my concern, I love the idea of one person doing this that we can all work with and we get to know over the next year as she's doing the work. So I totally get that too. So I just muddied the waters for everybody.
You definitely did, because I completely appreciate that. But, and the reason that I really liked her as one person is like, I feel comfortable giving one person a key to the Historical Society to go in there and dig through our files. I don't
Yeah.
feel as comfortable with a bigger group and we don't know who anybody is. And when I say I, it's also our board is
Mhm.
Right.
more conservative about granting access probably than I am. So I don't know, if I feel like if that board got to know the one person that they would feel better. But again, that's me speaking for a board. Shouldn't do that.
Speaking individually, but as a member who knows the other members of the board.
Correct. Yeah, I don't want it to sound like I'm speaking on behalf of the board.
Yeah,
I
right.
certainly am not.
Well, I'm there too with you, Christine. I'm on the same page. I'm more comfortable with one person. I'm definitely more comfortable with, and I understand concerns about her being a solo individual, but her experience speaks for itself. She has the experience that she's been able to do it and still have her quality of life and give the results that's needed.
She also has a close relationship with the gentleman who did the first one.
Oh, really?
It says, yeah,
They all know.
yes,
He's been around obviously a
Wow.
long time.
but the other two didn't mention
They know
him
him.
like she
They
did.
present with them quarterly.
Okay.
Robert's Rules of Order for Rochambeau. Can we?
And I'd actually kind of even the totals out. Like with the team, adequate number of qualified personnel, like I don't know if you want to make that 39.5 on the,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
you feel like it's a 40?
Yeah.
Adequate number being 1, so then why
Or-
isn't the
or wait,
other
no.
one? Why is
Oh, sorry, I
it
thought you were referencing the.
UWM would
Oh.
be a 40?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I thought,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying
Okay,
that we.
yeah,
should-
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable with that at 40 as well.
Okay,
Wow.
Yeah,
Right now we have a tie then.
So,
Can I vote maybe?
Yeah, should we just do a vote as like what we just did with the chair and vice chair? Maybe Alder Jackson can call a vote and
is. I'll move adoption of Historical Consulting LLC. Do I have a second?
I second.
Do we have a second?
Wait.
Sandy.
One out of it.
just trying.
Mr. Chair, would you like to call the vote?
I went dead for a minute. Did we have a second on it?
Sandy
Who's second?
second.
Oh, Sandy second. Okay. Okay. All in favor of historical consultant, say aye.
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 Alright,
Are you
Yes, it is.
abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
yeah, 2, 3.
Exception.
Was that 5?
Okay.
Okay,
So that's
Okay.
5. Well, looks like historical consultant has it.
An abstention.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Wait, so, are we, were you an aye?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Now that we have a consultant and that if Tracy accepts, I would like to come to the Historical Society and maybe help in gathering materials. I think it would be very helpful and move things along if we could help have stuff ready for her so she can hit the ground running.
yeah,
So she obviously will have Tim survey. WIPT has all of the properties that have been surveyed in the past. In addition to what was in Tim's survey, if a WISDOT project came through and they'd create a property record for it. But it would be helpful to go through, and if we can provide information on
Yeah.
these buildings and the significant people who live in these buildings. Not the buildings that are gone, but the buildings.
No, but there are 3 books that I got from the Historical Society when I worked there that all explain the people.
Mr.
and-
Chair. We noticed discussion only of adopting the bid, not of everything that follows.
Okay.
So we did not notice discussion of complying or of that. So I feel more comfortable if we moved on to the next agenda item.
Okay, we
So
can talk afterwards if you'd like.
I will put you in touch with Carolyn Matter and that's me.
I do have one question on that recommendation. The city council on that, don't they have to? What's the process there? Just to move-
So you guys have recommended the consultant. I contact the consultant and get a contract.
Okay.
And so then, common council is the one that approves the final contract. So that will happen at their next meeting, August 6th, I think.
Awesome. And our
Yeah.
chair is going to be at the council meeting.
Yes.
Yes, I'll be there.
Super. Birds.
So Elder Jackson, I think we're ready to move on to item 3.
Okay, agenda item number 3 on the discussion tonight, discussion of potential action on the landmark ordinance and application.
So considering the time, we're already almost at an hour, so I don't know if we want to, pick up where we left off or kind of discuss the new items that were added. So I believe Alder Nelson provided some suggested edits, or if you want to go over some of those application forms.
For the signage,
You want to move on to signage or?
if we're gonna adjourn in 6 minutes, it's gonna be very challenging to go through the ordinance in 6
Yeah.
minutes, even
Yeah.
though we've been through a lot of it. Because the signage has been a concern, I would recommend we jump to that.
Sure.
I actually, sorry, I had some things that were prior to the signage that I had concerns about, but I can hold them to the next meeting.
Sure.
We do signage.
I feel that ordinance takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes,
So,
it does, and with 6 minutes to adjourn, I think we need to cover the signage and we'll get back to that on the next meeting because ordinance is definitely, it's a lot of time.
so we can just say, Alder Jackson defers this item to the next meeting and we'll move on to the signage. So I believe it's the last page. So this is, mostly just my update for this. So, Elizabeth, was kind enough to pass along this, cool opportunity that Green County has. For, they're putting up signage, for, historical markers. And so, I think this was brought up at our previous meeting, the mound in Pheasant Branch. And we looked into it and it's actually on county land, so it's not in the city of Middleton, it's in the county portion. So I think that mound signage would be perfect for this program. And so that's kind of my update. I will reach out to like Friends of Pheasant Branch to see if, they would be interested in either, organizing this in conjunction with us or, Landmarks could submit, the application to Dane County for, well.
That would be fantastic, in my opinion. I'm concerned because if you scroll down, there is a due date in August, so
Okay.
you might have to click on one of the links where it discusses it further. So I would just want to make sure that the marker is submitted by the deadline, that we have verification. If Friends of the Pheasant Branch submit it, or if the planning department does.
Okay.
And then I didn't know if it would help to have a letter of support from our commission, being a proponent of
Okay.
signage for an underrepresented community that we feel very passionate about, to make sure it's updated. I don't know if there's criteria for the signage and the in there where what they take under consideration in choosing who's selected,
Mhm.
but it probably wouldn't hurt to have a letter of
Right.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do a letter of support and ask common council to do the same.
Or the mayor,
Yeah,
if the mayor could do that as well. It's always the more the merrier.
yes, exactly.
I'm definitely in favor of a letter of support because as you know, Daphne and you guys, this is my passion about these landmarks, and I'm definitely will be bringing it before the council to get the mayor or the common council or the council to definitely give us a letter of support. I think it would definitely improve on what we're trying to do here.
It would also be helpful if we got the member of the county board who represents that district, as well as the state representative and state senator, also sign a letter of support. It really is a more the merrier situation with these things.
Does it fall under, does the Conservancy fall under a certain jurisdiction? Is that under
Yeah, so
Alder Lisa?
the portion that's in Middleton falls under Alder Rose,
Yeah.
is right here. No, it doesn't?
It doesn't?
It's Big Mormon.
Oh, yeah, I always forget
Oh.
it. It cuts it in the Conservancy.
Okay.
But yeah, I can ask Alder Lorman to also,
Yeah. If you wanted to.
I'll reach out to Alder Lorman too. I'll definitely reach out to him. If you said Lorman, I'll reach out to him.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alder Jackson.
Is there any kind of, this is kind of just an etiquette question though, if the Landmarks Commission sends a letter to something outside of this, outside of a city entity, does that need to go through anybody?
That's
You know, because
good.
it's concerning a geographic point outside of city limits.
Yeah.
And we're kind of a sub-component of the city government and sending something directly to a county government. I don't know.
It should have been.
I can speak on cities to state. If that matters, but it's a letter of support is a letter of support.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal, but
Okay,
the way we could do it would be, we recommend to council, then we ask council to also send a communication to the member of the county board who represents it to sign on to the letter of support, as well as the state representative and the state senator, if we want to go. It is,
Yeah.
but
But we
seriously,
still
more the
didn't answer
merrier.
your question.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
just want
guys,
to make
I
sure
can-
we're not jumping.
I can get the information over to who is the county board for that area. And I can push this agenda to get that letter for whoever's on the county board side.
But do we use letterhead of the city? Sort of.
Only if common council would be the thing. So we recommend to council and we get the letter or resolution.
So us as a commission can't submit our own letter.
We could obviously, but if we want the other ones on board, and we want to
Not on city letterhead.
do it that way, then yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I just think we're kind of jumping supervisory echelons for a city committee to go, not
No.
go through the council
No.
and to go outside. of the
It's
city.
very
yeah.
common.
Well, yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be to encourage council to,
Okay,
include copies of that and make that request.
Yeah.
It is common to jump, but if we're all more comfortable with it just being council, then we can
they can,
recommend to council and council will do it.
they can just Even if they vote to endorse a letter, we could just write on the, that it's
Yeah.
endorsed by the city council. That to me, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Step on somebody's administrative toes.
No.
It's possible, because this is not, our thing, but it's cool to know about. And obviously, we had a lot of passionate people in our April meeting discussing history. Can we have our public relations person?
Oh,
Put this
like just
out.
send it out.
Yes, we'll see it, and if they, like all of those people that came and spoke passionately at our meeting should know that there's a process. I mean, the
Yeah.
chances of getting something added might be slim, but they sure should know about it.
Yeah, that's great.
And going back to the letters, in my opinion, each letter gets a count. So how many letters of support? I don't know if the county is acting in this way, but if the commission sends a letter, the mayor sends a letter. Like that's more letters of support versus one entire letter.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And it makes a lot of sense. That was my thoughts too. I understand that we're asking the council for a letter, but I think the more letters, the better. So if the commission, the county supervisor, the council, as many letters as we can get in support would make it better.
Yeah. So is that something, who would draft that letter and then Alder Jackson would sign it as the chair of our commission now? Is that something that you would do, Daphne? Just a
can.
letter of support? Or Gio, I would be willing to draft up something and send it to
Sure,
you?
yeah, that would be
Would that be
Mhm.
okay? Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then at our next meeting, we can.
No, that would be
No.
too
Oh,
late.
that'd be too late, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I don't know if you wanted to come from Daphne as our city staff or, and then
yeah,
whoever, whatever y'all are more comfortable with, but the deadline, it's in August for this, so we
Okay.
have to move fast.
all right, yeah, so we
What's the date actually now?
do the letter and then we'd ask that council as a whole take it up as well. I think,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they would have a separate letter.
yeah, they'd have some, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Submit your nomination now, maybe it's there.
What is our deadline?
We're looking at that August date. What date is it? Do we know?
I'm not seeing an official date, right?
Oh, no, there isn't one.
I hope I'm not making this up, but I want to say when this came to my attention, looked at it, it was August.
Okay. Yeah, it might not be like a public date or anything, yeah.
Well, Daphne or whoever on commission wants to draft a letter, you can draft it, email me, and I can meet you at City Hall or wherever else, and I'll sign off on it to get our letter out the way. And then, like I said, I can definitely bring it before council to get a letter there. And then I can reach out to someone I know on the Dane County Board Supervisor side, who I think I know who's in that area, and try to get a letter there, because the more the merrier. The more the letters, the better. Like I said, I'm just an email away. I can stop by, sign off on the letter. Daphne or whoever on commission can send it out.
Hugh Alder Jackson.
And then I just have one other update, for, let's see. The mound signage, so we have Heim Effigy Mound on Mound Drive. I've been in contact with Rob Nuri, who is part of the Wisconsin Archaeological Society. He, like, every time I ask him for the language, he brings up a lot of other concerns he's having along Mound Drive, so it seems like he would like to have some of those other concerns addressed first. Like Mound Drive is up, I think in 2026 or 27 to be reconstructed or repaved. And so he would like a lot of the street concerns addressed first before any of the signage is done for the effigy mound. So it seems like that is maybe stalled until they can figure out the road situation there. And then, he's interested in getting no parking signs and all these other kind of things related to public works. So you'll be hearing soon.
Hey, get on that, Charles.
But
Increase the streets budget, please.
yeah. Right, and so it seems like those are some concerns he wants addressed first before the signage is put in place and, you know, might have to be moved because of the street or something. So I think we're probably gonna hold on that until we can figure that situation out. But in the meantime, we can work on these other landmark plaques that we've been getting some comments about, you know, getting those mounts and like purchasing some mounts for those signs, like the one on Aurora Street.
Yeah.
So we can maybe focus on that and then just put a hold on the Heim effigy mount for now. So that's, yeah, that's my update on that end.
Super.
So I think we're at 6:07. Alder Jackson, would you like to adjourn the meeting? Or do you want to discuss the ordinance?
No, at this time, we're gonna move the ordinance onto the next agenda. Because it'll take a while, and at this time, we'll adjourn the meeting of the Landmarks Commission. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say
Oh, he
aye.
didn't get the email.
Yeah, Alder Jackson, we don't need a vote. You, as chair, you can just adjourn the meeting when we finished all of our agenda items, so. You can say the meeting's adjourned at 6:08. Yeah.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:08. I'll see you guys at the next meeting. And like I said, whoever's going to draft the letter, just email me and I'll run over and sign it whenever it's ready.
Great.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
Thanks,
You
everyone.
too, thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff. Congratulations.
Look forward to doing great work with you guys.
All right, bye.